Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala wa ba'd. Continue with Kitaab At-Tawheed of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahaab rahimahullah ta'ala. The 6th chapter. As I mentioned last week, the first 5 chapters are all like an introduction or an explanation of what Tawheed is. The next chapters are an explanation of Tawheed by looking at its opposite. What's the opposite of Tawheed? Shirk. So if we say Tawheed is singling out Allah in everything that Allah is deserving of, then what is shirk? Shirk is its opposite. So can you think of a definition of shirk based upon Tawheed? So Tawheed is singling out Allah in everything that Allah is deserving of. Okay? So what's its opposite then?
Not singling out Allah.
Not singling out Allah.
Sharing. Making others into.
Giving anything that only Allah is deserving of to other than Allah. Even if with it you give some of it to Allah, you still have committed shirk. Yes? So the Shaykh here in the next chapters, all of them, he's going to go through different forms of shirk. Because if you know it's the opposite of Tawheed, then you will know what Tawheed is. So staying away from shirk will lead you to be muwahid. Be a person of Tawheed. So he says, Bab min ash-shirki لبس الحلقة والخيط ونحوهما لرفع البلاء أو دفعه. Okay, from shirk, chapter concerning from shirk is wearing like a bracelet or a what do they call it? No, wearing a thread around your arm, or the likes of it, for the purpose of removing a hardship or stopping it from occurring. Yeah, to remove it or to protect you from it coming about. This is from shirk. As we know, shirk is of different types. Not every type of shirk is the same. Yes? So we say that there are different types of shirk. The main 2 categories are shirk al-akbar and shirk al-asghar. But there's also shirk al-khafi. The shirk al-khafi, which is the hardest. Yes? Shirk al-akbar means somebody has left the fold of Islam. Somebody who commits shirk al-akbar, مخرج من الملة. It takes one out of the fold of Islam. Shirk al-asghar, it is a type of the heart being connected to other than Allah, or it's something that leads us to the greater shirk, but in itself is not greater shirk. And the person who does it remains within the fold of Islam, but it's greater than the major sins. All shirk is greater than all major sins. So shirk al-akbar takes you outside of Islam, makes a person somebody who a disbeliever. Whereas shirk al-asghar doesn't make them a disbeliever. They remain within the fold of Islam, but they've committed something which is greater than all of the major sins. What are the major sins? Murder, zina, drinking, stealing. All of these are major sins. Shirk al-asghar is worse than all of them. It's worse than all of them because you've given part of your heart to other than Allah. Whereas the other sins, you've done them out of the weakness. Out of your weakness as a human being. Yes? Maybe you want to get money and you don't know any halal way and you can't think of anything, and so you go and steal. Yes? Of course, this is not allowed. But it doesn't come to the level of shirk al-asghar. Shirk al-asghar is worse than that. What we're talking about now is from shirk al-asghar. Okay, so we're going to explain it as we go along. Shirk al-khafi is the hidden form, which is like riya, where you're doing an action And in it, then you start to give it to other than Allah. By showing off. By trying to show the people. This is a hidden form of shirk. And this is the easiest one to fall into. You're praying and then people are watching you, and what happens to your prayer? What happens to your recitation? What happens to all of this? You should be praying, no matter how many thousands of people are behind you, as if you are by yourself. People being behind you, or no one being there, it should be the same. It should be the same. In your heart, it should be the same that you're standing in front of Allah. Problem is, that's easy to say, and harder when you have people behind you, and people watching you. And then your salah becomes, Allah understand. So he says that all of these things, wearing something, whether it's, they used to, let's go through the narrations, then we'll explain them. So he mentions the first narration, which is from the ayah, وقول الله تعالى قل أفرأيتم ما تدعون من دون الله إن أرادني الله بضر هل هن كاشفات ضره أو أرادني برحمة هل هن ممسكات رحمته قل حسبي الله عليه يتوكل المتوكلون. The ayah of Surah Az-Zumar, where Allah talks about, before it talks about those who call upon other than Allah. Yes? The beginning of the verse talks about those who call upon other than Allah. Have they created anything? Do they own anything in the heavens and the earth? And then Allah mentions this, قُلْ أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Say to them, look at the ones that you call upon other than Allah. Call upon here means not just dua. It means worship other than Allah. Okay? Because He mentions one form of worship to indicate to all the other forms of worship. تدعون. Who did the mushrikeen of Quraysh used to call upon other than Allah?
Those statues at the house.
The idols. That's one. Huh? Lat wal Izza wa Manat. Yeah. What else? Those are the idols. What else did they call upon?
Jinn.
They used to call upon the jinn. What else did they worship and call upon? The malaika. They used to say Banatullah. Yes, Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Safat and other surahs that they used to think of them as Banatullah. What else did they call upon? Or what else do people who commit shirk call upon? They used to call upon the trees. They used to have special trees. They used to have rocks. They used to make gods out of dates and then eat them when they got hungry. Like Umar radiallahu anh says, he used to make the god of dates, and then when I got hungry, I would eat it. Okay?
They said that they're traveling.
Huh?
They're traveling.
Yes.
And they don't have food.
Yes, so they eat the god.
They ask him, if you don't bring food, they won't eat it. Yes.
They used to call upon all of these different things, Salihin, the graves, like in our times. All of these things are مَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Allah saying, look at all of those things that you call upon besides Allah. إِنْ أَرَادَنِي اللَّهُ بِضُرٍ. If Allah wants for me harm, هَلْ هُنَّ كَاشِفَاتِ ضُرِّهِ. Can any one of these remove that harm from me? أَوْ أَرَادَنِي بِرَحْمَةٍ. Or Allah wants for me mercy. هَلْ هُنَّ مُمْسِكَاتُ رَحْمَتِهِ. Can they prevent that rahmah coming upon me? قُلْ حَسْبِيَ اللَّهُ. Say, Allah is sufficient for me. عَلَيْهِ يَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُتَوَكِّلُ. Upon Him, the ones who put reliance should put their reliance. So Allah here is saying that no one holds. What is Allah saying here? You tell me. What is Allah saying here in this verse? Say, look at those who you worship besides Allah. If Allah wants for me hardship, then can they remove that hardship from me? Or if Allah wants for me mercy, can they stop that mercy coming? Say Allah is sufficient. Upon Him, those who rely should put their reliance. What is Allah saying? Yeah. What is Allah
He
saying?
said they can't do anything for you.
Okay. That's right.
If you believe this one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to
Okay. Anyone else? Shaykh? No? That the good comes only from Allah. And no, if Allah wants for you good, no one can remove that good from you. But Allah. And if Allah wants harm for you, or wants something bad to befall you from His qadr, nothing can stop it from happening except Allah. Okay?
because already written.
The harm and the benefit comes only from Allah. Harm and benefit only comes from Allah. And this is Tawheed. This is from Allah's rububiyyah. Allah being the Lord. That all harm and all good comes or is in the hands of Allah. And He is the only one who has control over the qadr that happens to you, the good and the bad that happens to you is in Allah's hand and in no one's hand but Him. Okay, that's what Allah is saying here. Then he mentions the hadith of An Imran ibn Husayn radiyallahu anhu أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رأى رجلا في يده حلقة من صفر فقال ما هذه؟ قال من الواهنة فقال انزعها فإنها لا تزيدك إلا وهنا فإنك لو مت ومت وهي عليك ما أفلحت أبدا رواه أحمد بسند لا بأس به. So on the authority of Imran ibn Husayn, who's one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, who says that the Prophet ﷺ saw a man in his hand, on his hand was one of these bracelet things of copper, means sufr, of copper. In another version of this, it was Imran himself. He was the one with the copper in it, on his hand, on his arm. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ said to her, what is this? There's two possibilities in just this one wording. Ma hadi. Can you think of the two possibilities? That what is meant by ma hadi? What is this? Okay, what did the Prophet ﷺ mean by this?
And what are you doing?
Ask him what he benefit.
Okay, both of you are correct. Okay? One version, one understanding is the Prophet ﷺ wanted to know what it was.
Okay, simple.
What it was. Just simply that. The other is, you know when somebody's doing something wrong and you want to reprimand them and stop them, sometimes you say, what's this that you're doing? Yes? That's another interpretation of mahadi. And that goes more with the context of what the Prophet ﷺ says afterwards. Not ta'ajjub. Ta'ajjub is your astonished, surprise. Here it's out of anger. What are you doing? This is not right. You can't be doing this. What's this that you're doing? Like if you came home and your wife was doing something silly. And you say to her, what's this? Or if your children are doing something silly. Yes? You're not asking them. You're not asking them what they're doing. Yes? Yeah, it's su'al istinkar. That you are reprimanding. Okay. So the person who's wearing it says قال من الواهنة. It's from something they call al-wahina, which is they believed that it will cure them. It has some curative matter from like the bone problems. So they would wear it to cure them from any ailments of the bones. So it's from wahina. Wahana or wahina means from what does wahana mean? Come on.
Weakness, isn't
It's from weakness, being weak. Yeah. So they wore this to protect them or to remove weakness, especially to do with the bones.
So it will make you more weak.
Yes.
But even these days also it goes on. I saw people have
That's
sick man.
Yeah.
Sins.
So the Prophet ﷺ said, remove it, inzi'ha. Remove it. And inzi' means remove it quickly. He could have said, ikhla'ha. Take it off. Take it off doesn't have the same meaning. It means just take it off. Whenever you get round to it. Take it off. Inzi'ha means now. Right now, take it off. فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَزِيدُكَ إِلَّا وَهْنًا. Because it will not increase you except in more weakness. Weakness could mean weakness of the body. Could mean weakness, more weakness in your heart. Both of them are meant. Why? Because the heart is connected now to this thing. The heart thinks that this thing has power to either remove what the problem I have or to protect me from actually getting it. And that is from the shirk al-asghar. That is from the shirk al-asghar. Because the heart is supposed to be connected to who? To Allah Azza wa Jal only. And also, it's not allowed for us to make something a cause. This is a principle in Sharia. We can't make something a cause for something unless we have a proof from the Sharia for it, or we have a proof from the physical world that this actually works. Proof from the Sharia allows us. That's easy. What about a proof from, they say tajruba, proof from experience that this works? For example, the fire. We know the fire burns. How do we know the fire burns?
You can feel it.
We can feel it. So this is a sabab. This is a cause for burning. Water. Water, if I drink it, what happens? It quenches the thirst. How do I know this? From experience. And so on. Yes? All of these things, also some medications. The medication, like for antibiotics. How do they know antibiotics work? Or don't work? How do they know? No, but how when they first come up with them? How did they know they work? Experiments, experience. That it works. So these are the only two ways you can say that this is a cause for this. Either the Sharia gives you a dalil. For example, Prophet ﷺ said, like from the cures is, and Allah says as well, from the cures for illness is honey. From the cures of illness is the black seed. It's a cure for everything except death. Yes, in some narration, and so on. The Sharia has given us that these are cures. Other cures we know, or other causes we know from experience. These are the only two ways we can establish that this is a cause for something. Other than this, leads us to shirk with Allah. Shirk can lead us to shirk al-asghar and can lead us to shirk al-akbar. This thing has no proof in the Sharia that it is for an ailment, for an illness, can cure an illness. Rather, the Sharia goes against it. As the Prophet ﷺ here is saying, that it won't increase you except in more of illness. Yes? Also from tajruba, there is no proof for it. There's no proof for it. But what they do is their heart become connected to it. That if I take this off, I'm going to become sick. Yes? If I take it off, I'm going to become sick. And he's going to be worried about it. Yes? So the heart is now connected. Even though he knows or he believes that it won't happen except with the permission of Allah. This is where that's why it becomes shirk al-asghar. That he says, he believes, that this thing only works with the permission of Allah. But still his heart is connected to it. Yes? But it's not fully connected. That's how it's shirk al-asghar. How does it become shirk al-akbar?
He only absolutely believes in this.
Believes in this? This is it? Meaning?
This is the main cure for.
This is the main cure?
I'll give you an example. The people, they put this thing and they say, they call it Imam Dhamin. Dhamin means guarantee, isn't it? Dhamin?
Guaranteeing the
Imam. Their Imam is protecting them. Then becomes shirk.
The Imam is protecting them. That goes even further. We're not going that far.
Let's go for pizza.
No, we don't want to go to speeds. And then leave them alone for now. It becomes shirk al-akbar when, as you were saying, when you believe that this thing in itself helps without it having any connection with Allah. When it does it itself. So you give it the power of harm or protection by itself with being independent of Allah. So Allah has no say. This thing itself would protect me. This is a type of ta'weez. Yes. This is a type of ta'weez, but we're talking about the bracelet thing itself. That's because the Shaykh mentions it. He's going to mention the ta'weez in the next chapter. Okay, so here he hasn't mentioned it yet. So here in the hadith of Imran ibn Hussein, the Prophet ﷺ tells him, take it off straight away. It won't increase you except in more weakness. Then he says, فَإِنَّكَ لَوْ مِتَّ أو مُتَّ, if you were to die with it, وَهِيَ عَلَيْكَ, and it is upon you, مَا أَفْلَحْتَ أَبَدًا, you will never be successful. And he uses abadan. We understand if it's shirk al-akbar. Yes? مَا أَفْلَحْتَ أَبَدًا, you will never be successful because you've exited Islam. You are no longer the person is no longer within the fold of Islam if he does shirk al-akbar. But here, the companion is not doing shirk al-akbar. The companion has accidentally fallen in without knowing shirk al-asghar. So how does this make sense? The Prophet ﷺ still is saying that you will never be successful if you die with it upon you. What do you think? What do we think?
It could mean that if it's really shirk, Allah will never forgive. But this means may Allah forgive you after some punishment.
Remember, if we go back, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Shirk. Allah leaves it open, shirk. Shirk al-akbar or shirk al-asghar. If somebody doesn't make tawbah from shirk, whether it's akbar or asghar, Allah will not forgive it. And Allah will punish the person. If they die upon shirk al-akbar, of course, khulud fil nar. The person will remain in the hellfire forever. Whereas shirk al-asghar, the person will be punished if he doesn't repent for it in this dunya. Shirk al-asghar. Even the riyah. If somebody doesn't repent to Allah for it in this dunya, he'll be punished. He falls within, as we mentioned, this is one of the opinions of the ulama with regards this verse, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ, that it includes both, encompasses both shirk al-akbar and shirk al-asghar. And we said that's the most correct opinion, wallahu a'lam. And this hadith seems to agree with that. That the Prophet ﷺ meant that you will be punished for this if you die upon it without removing it. Even though you may enter paradise in the end. But you will have to go through the punishment because it is shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. It's narrated in the book Musnad of Imam Ahmad, and some of the scholars, many of the scholars authenticate the hadith, but some of the scholars say that there is weakness in the hadith. So it's one of those ahadith where there is a debate amongst the ulama whether it's authentic or not.
The Quran is clearly.
The Quran was talking about all types of shirk. The ayah of the Quran was talking about all types of shirk, and that harm and benefit only comes from Allah. And all of these things that are worshipped or called upon besides Allah can neither harm nor benefit. Just like Ibrahim alayhi salam when he gave da'wah to his father in Surah Maryam. How can you call upon that which can do no harm or benefit? That cannot hear you. That cannot speak to you. So Allah, that verse is for both shirk al-akbar and asghar, but more so for shirk al-akbar. This hadith indicates to that. Then he mentions the second hadith, وَلَهُ عَنْ عُقْبَةَ بْنِ عَامِرٍ مَرْفُوعًا. What does it mean, marfu'an?
It goes until the companion.
No, marfu'an. Narrated? Yes?
Marfu' to the Prophet.
To the Prophet ﷺ. So, Uqba ibn Amir is narrating from the Prophet ﷺ. We had mawqufan. Mawquf is the one we say, where it's the statement of the companion. Mawqufan. Marfu'an. Mursal is then a tabi'i. You need to go over the hadith. Okay. This is Mustalah hadith. We finished the whole book. That's why I pick on these words.
Which book do you use, Shaykh?
we used we used a book which was written recently, Al-Hadith fi Mustalah Al-Hadith. Al-Hadith fi Mustalah Al-Hadith. Anyway, the hadith is on the authority of Uqbah ibn Amir radiyallahu anh, مرفوعا to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم: من تعلق تميمة فلا أتم الله له ومن تعلق ودعة فلا ودع الله له وفي رواية من تعلق تميمة فقد أشرك. Okay, here the Shaykh mentions Tamima, which is the Tawiz, and he mentions something else called Wada'a. What was Wada'a? Wada'a was yes, I remember what Wada'a was. I remember what Wada'a was now. Okay, it's very similar to Tamim. There's no a big difference. What is a Tawiz? It's something that they put things into it. It could be hair they put in it. It could be writing they put in it. It could be anything that they want to. And they wrap it up. And then you put it on yourself somewhere. Normally it's either on your neck, or it can be on an arm, or something like that. And it's not only done on people. It's also done on animals. Yes? They do it on their cows. They do it on their buffaloes. They do it. I haven't seen it done on sheep. They do it on the bigger animals and the camels, to safeguard them from any harm that would come to them from the evil eye or magic or anything. They do this. This is a tamima or a wada'a. Both are very similar, but they're two different names used for them. So he says, "Man ta'allaqa tamimatan," whoever puts on, wears, or puts on, I can't think of another one, a tamima, which is a tawiz, then may Allah not complete it for him. Tamima comes from the word tamma, means to complete something. Yes? So they put this on to complete what they desire. What are they desiring? Protection. So they want the completion of their desire, which is protection from harm or removal of anything bad. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ makes this dua, فَلَا أَتَمَّ اللَّهُ لَهُ. May Allah not complete it for them. Whatever they put it on for, may Allah not give them what they want from it. وَمَنْ تَعَلَّكَ وَدْعَ فَلَا وَدْعَ اللَّهُ لَهُ. Similar, whoever puts on this wad'a, then may Allah not complete it for them as well. May Allah not make it a source of what they want from it. And this hadith is again from Imam Ahmad and others. Again, there is a difference of opinion on its authenticity. There's a difference of opinion. There are ulama who authenticate it, and they are the majority. And there are ulama who say it has weakness in it. But it agrees with other narrations. So at very least, we would say, as one of the sheikhs said, it's Hasan. Hasan, what type of Hasan? Hasan li ghayrihi. Hasan because of the different chains or the different narrations that support it. Okay. In another version, and this is the most authentic of them, this actually is authentic, and there's no debate on it, is man ta'allaqa tamimatan faqad ashraka. Whoever puts on a tawiz, tamima, faqad ashrak, then he has committed shirk with Allah. Again, this could be shirk al-asghar and could be shirk al-akbar. Okay, similar to it has a similar thing to the copper bracelet or strings that they put on. Anybody seen the strings that people wear as well? Especially amongst the Hindus. They put these strings, and normally they're different colors, or they have a red one, a black one. All of these fall in this ruling. And Sikhs have it as well, and Muslims, and some Muslims have it as well. Yes? So all of them can be shirk al-akbar or shirk al-asghar. Shirk al-asghar, when they believe that it is a cause, but it only happens when Allah allows it to happen. It can only work if Allah gives it permission. So the heart is connected, but not fully, because the heart is still connected to Allah, because Allah is the one that gives it permission to happen. Then it becomes shirk al-asghar. Yes? Or shirk al-akbar, when does it become shirk al-akbar? When you make it independent of Allah. And your heart fully is connected to it. Yes? And you see that in some people. They say, no. Yeah, I wear it, but my heart is not connected to it. Yes? They wear their ta'weez, whatever it is. And they say, but my heart's not connected to it. Okay, then if your heart's not connected to it, take it off. Yeah? But if you were to take it off them, they would have a big problem. They would feel as if they are naked. Or worse than that. Yes? That shows their heart is connected. You would only wear such things if your heart is connected and you have a belief behind it. Yes? Otherwise you wouldn't wear these things. So you don't believe them when they say these things. Okay, shall we stop for the adhan? We'll stop now for the adhan. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Carrying on. Before we carry on. Last week I said shirk was there's 3 types of shirk. 3 reasons behind shirk. And I mentioned shirk of ibadah, shirk of ta'ah, and shirk of mahabbah. There's one I left out accidentally, which is they call it shirk of niyyah or shirk of i'tiqad. The shirk of belief and intention. Which is belief in reality, shirk of intention. And we said the asal of it all is mahabbah, love. That's why the heart needs to be purely, its love should be purely for Allah Azza wa Jal. And it should be totally connected to Allah Azza wa Jal. The more that you give part of your heart to other than Allah, the more easy it is or the more that you become connected to other than Allah, the easier it is for you to fall into shirk. The easier it is for you to fall into shirk. The asal of Tawheed is love. The love of worship that you give to Allah. And Allah wants your heart purely for Him. And no other part of it should be for anyone but Allah. The love of ibadah. We have normal love, the fitra love. We're not talking about that type of love. The love of your parents, the love of your children, the love of, and so on. The normal love. We're not talking about that type of love. That is a fitri love that you have no escape from. Just like the fear, the fitri fear you have. You see a lion, what's going to happen? You're going to be fearful. Or if you see a cobra or a snake or something. Yeah? And some people have other phobias of things. Yes? This is a fitra. This is what Allah has put in someone. There's a fitra love. And there's a fitra fear and so on. This is not what we're talking about when we're talking about the love that you're supposed to give. Your heart is supposed to be connected solely to Allah. This is a love of worship that you give, the highest form of love, where you bow down to because of that love. And you turn everything that you do and intend by it Allah. This is that love. The more that somebody creeps in that love that you're supposed to have for Allah, the more that something or someone creeps in, the easier it becomes for you to fall into shirk. It is the reason for shirk. That love of that thing gets so high and intense that it leads them to worship them. The love that they had of the Salihin. Yes? It started off as they had love for them. Then their hearts became connected to them. And so on until it became so intensified that it led them to worship them. Same as this ta'weez that we're talking about, the amulets. At the beginning, the person wears it perhaps just with the belief that it is a cause from the causes and it only happens with the permission of Allah. Yes? And then when it actually does do something, or in his mind, it actually works. And Allah allows it to work. As we know, sometimes Allah allows things to occur. Yes? فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم. When they wanted misguidance, and they wanted to go astray, Allah increased them in their strayness. So when they want disbelief, Allah increases them in disbelief. Okay? So from that is that perhaps they put on this, they go to their pir, as we were talking about, or their imam, and he gives them this amulet to wear, and they wear it, and it cures them. Yes? Okay? But it only cures them with the permission of Allah. But when it does cure them, what happens? The heart becomes connected to it. And then they are afraid of taking it off. And their heart, more and more, they think about it. And if they get sick, they go to get another one, and this, that, and the other. Until their heart is fully connected to it, and it becomes independent of Allah. See how the shirk came slowly. Not in one go. It took its time. Until the person was fully engrossed in it. Because his heart, the love, is totally for this thing. Because this is the thing that he sees benefiting him and protecting him from harm. And he doesn't see Allah anymore. That's how it can go. So the asl, as we said, the asl of it, all shirk, is from mahabba, is from love. Okay, coming back to what we had here. We mentioned the hadith, Man ta'allaqa bit-tamimatan faqad ashrak, the one who puts on a amulet, then he has committed shirk. Then he mentions Wali ibn Abi Hatim and Hudhayfa, and Ibn Abi Hatim, who has his own book of hadith, as well as other books, narrates from Hudhayfa radiyallahu anhu, أنه رأى رجلا في يده خيط من الحمى فقطعه وتلا قوله وما يؤمن أكثرهم بالله إلا وهم مشركون. So Hudhayfa radiyallahu anhu saw a man having a string, or string, isn't it? String tied on his wrist, from protecting him from fever, believing that it would protect him from fever. So Hudhayfa cut it off his hand. Who is Hudhayfa? Hudhayfa is a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, one of the close companions of the Prophet ﷺ. He cut it off, and then he read the verse, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُم بِاللَّهِ, and most of them don't believe in Allah except إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ, except that they commit shirk with Allah. They believe in Allah, but at the same time they commit shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal. So he connected this to what that man was doing. Because this verse can encompass encompasses the major shirk. Yes? Somebody can believe in Allah and still commit major shirk with Allah. Those who worship the graves, they make sajda to the graves. They believe in Allah. And they say La ilaha illallah, maybe more than we do. Yeah? However, they worship with Allah other than Allah. Yes? They even go and eat the mud at the graves. I remember doing it when I was a child. First time I ever went to Pakistan, when I was I think I was 8 years old. I had no idea. And we went to a place, and my mother said, this is the Darbar. I said, what's that? I have no idea. This is a special place. Okay. Alright. It was good to get out of the village. So anywhere, no problem. Just get out that little village, go somewhere else, see something else. Okay? So we went there, and people, I just thought it was a masjid. Yes? Mm-hmm. And then you go into little rooms, and the doors are shut, and you have to bow down your head, and there's a grave there, and then they have things on the grave that you take and you rub yourself, and people rubbing themselves over. I was wondering, what's going on here? I was small, but I didn't understand. And then there's a place where there's some, between two graves, where there's mud or some kind of earth. Everybody goes past, picks up part of the earth and eats it. And my mother gave me a piece and said, eat it. I said, okay, if you say so. No idea. Okay? So I'm saying that this goes on in the Muslim world. They worship Allah, and they worship these things other than Allah Azza wa Jal. So this can happen, the major shirk can happen, and also minor shirk with Allah can happen as well. Just like the major shirk and the minor shirk. And from this verse we also learn that sometimes you can talk about or use a verse of major shirk when you're talking about minor shirk, like Hudhayfa did here. To talk about minor shirk, he used a verse in which Allah, generally speaking, is talking about major shirk with him. but it's used, they can use them interchangeably. Because the major shirk tells you about the minor shirk, and the minor shirk tells you about the major shirk. Okay, any questions on that? The Shaykh gives his benefits that he comes from it. He says first, الأولى التغليظ في لبس الحلقة والخيط ونحوهما لمثل ذلك. Taghlid is being very stern warning. Taghlid, being very sternful in the warning about wearing these things that are minor shirk. The Prophet ﷺ, what did he say at the end of the hadith? If you die with it upon it, you will never be successful. The Prophet ﷺ was very stern, even though it's a matter of minor shirk. I know we're saying minor shirk. Yeah? Remember what minor shirk is. It's bigger than all of the kaba'ir. الثانية, the second, أن الصحابي لو مات وهي عليه ما أفلح. فيه شاهد لكلام الصحابة أن الشرك الأصغر أكبر من الكبائر. That the Sahabi, if he died with it upon him, he would not be successful. It's a proof that shirk al-asghar is bigger than all of the major sins. Because the major sins, the Prophet ﷺ never said that. The Prophet ﷺ actually said to Abu Dharr, and Abu Dharr was very upset when he heard this. He said, a person will enter paradise even if he drinks and fornicates and steals. Okay? And he said, really? No, really? He said again, twice, third time, even whether your nose likes it or not. So he mentioned the major sins. He didn't mention shirk. He didn't mention shirk al-asghar. He didn't mention riya. He mentioned the major sins, that Allah can overlook them and forgive them without tawbah. But Allah will not forgive shirk. Allah will not forgive shirk. The third of them, أنه لم يعذر بالجهالة, that the person who did this, the person who was wearing it, did it out of ignorance, not knowing the ruling on it. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't give him an excuse. He didn't excuse him. He told him, and if he had not listened to the Prophet ﷺ right there and then he would not be successful ever. Sometimes people tell us what the Prophet ﷺ has said, and we say, maybe, yeah, alright, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Yes? No, our thing should be سمعنا وأطعنا. We hear, we obey. الرابع, the fourth, أنها لا تنفع في العاجلة بل تضر لقوله لا تزيدك إلا وهنا. That these things will not benefit you even in this dunya. They will not benefit you even in this dunya. Rather, they will harm you. Say you're cured by them. Yes? What happens? They benefited you. The Shaykh saying they will not benefit you. The Prophet ﷺ is saying they will not benefit you because he said they will not increase you except in more weakness. So how do we understand that? They will not benefit you even in this dunya, but rather they will harm you. If you weigh the harm that they will do to you compared to the benefit you get, it's of no worth, that benefit, because it will lead you to major shirk with Allah and to khulud fin nar, to be ever in the hellfire. So of what benefit is that? Temporal benefit. For that everlasting punishment, and that it will seep into your heart until it fully takes your heart. And we find that in the people. First time they even sneeze, they'll go to their imam to get something. Yes, that's how far their hearts are connected to these imams. If the imam asks them for anything, they would give it to him. الخامسة الإنكار بالتغليظ على من فعل مثل ذلك. The being stern in your reprimanding somebody who does or wears any of this. The Prophet ﷺ was very soft. Yes? Very soft, even with his enemies. When it comes to these things, he was very stern. Very stern. When it came to shirk, he was very stern. Like when the person said, Ma sha'Allah wa shit. What you will, what Allah wills and what you will. He became angry and said, Aja'altani ma'Allah niddan? Have you made me a partner with Allah? Say, Ma sha'Allah faqat. Just say what Allah wills. Any time it was a matter of shirk and tawheed, the Prophet ﷺ, you didn't see softness from him. You saw anger from him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When it was a matter of Tawheed and Shirk, there was no room. But when it was matters less than that, there was room. There was softness from the Prophet ﷺ. When he saw them doing other sins, the Prophet ﷺ was soft with them. Man who came and asked the Prophet ﷺ, "Oh, everything's okay, but I have to fornicate. I've come here to ask your permission." He came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him his permission. Somebody came to the Imam, your Imam, yes? Somebody comes to you and says to you, "Look, everything, I love Islam, everything's okay, but I just need permission to fornicate." Okay? How would you'd be angry with such a person? Harsh words, not the Prophet ﷺ. This is a sin. This is a sin. It's a major sin, but it's a sin. Prophet ﷺ said, would you like it for your sister? Would you like it for your mother? Would you like it? People don't like it for their women. And then the man said that that was it. End of. And the Prophet ﷺ made dua for him as well. But this was to do with sin. Prophet ﷺ was not like this when it came to Tawheed and Shirk. He was not like this. He was very strong and stern. السادسة, the sixth one, is التصريح بأن من تعلق تميمة فقد أشرك. The Prophet ﷺ said it explicitly, that the one who wears amulets has committed shirk. And we mentioned that is either shirk al-akbar or shirk al-asghar. Whoever, no matter who he is and what he says, by wearing it, he has committed shirk with Allah. Whether shirk al-asghar or whether shirk al-akbar. Yes? Following? Okay. الثامنة أن التعليق الخيط من الحمى من ذلك. That wearing these things on the arm, the thread, is from shirk. Is from amulets. These are considered to be a type of amulet. This bronze, or what's it called, copper things that people wear, or threads. All of this is considered to be an amulet, and considered to be shirk with Allah. And anything new that people invent. Okay, this is what was around at their time. Yes, anything new that people invent.
Indeed.
With regard like this, that they wear or they put or they use, in which they say is a cause for protection or harm, falls under the same ruling as this. Yes, there could be something new that we don't know of that people use. So far, we know the ta'weezes and whatever, but somebody, what do they call it? A very clever new imam might come up with something new, something new that they can wear. Maybe some kind of pouch or something. I don't know. Some kind of sticker, tattoo. Yeah? If it's used for the same purpose, then it falls under the same ruling. Yes. But these are just examples that the Prophet ﷺ gave us, and were existence in his time. Then he mentioned number 9, تلاوة حذيفة الآية دليل على أن الصحابة يستدلون بالآيات التي في الشرك الأكبر على الأصغر كما ذكر ابن عباس في آية البقرة. So sometimes the Sahaba, he says, will use a verse which talks about shirk al-akbar, but use it in the context of shirk al-asghar, to show the evilness of it, what the person has done. And he says in another place, Ibn Abbas does something similar in an ayah of Surah Baqarah, but he doesn't mention the ayah. Al-Ashira, the 10th point, أن التعليق الودع من العين من ذلك. That this تعليق الودع, which is similar to ta'weez, but sometimes it's mainly used for the evil eye. And it might not be put on people, they can be put in cars and places as well. Like in Egypt, they have the 5, something out of metal, has 5, the hand, and an eye in the middle. Okay? It's to protect from the evil eye. Whichever taxi you get in, you have this in front of your face. Okay? To protect from the evil eye.
I remember seeing one of those in the garden, those people actually put little white in a black pot, and they put little round with the white, and they put it in the garden.
To protect from the evil eye. Perhaps their flowers are beautiful, or the
all
garden
those,
is beautiful, and they hope people will come and they'll. Okay, yes, it's to protect. All of these things are from this. That would be considered like a type of wada'a, a type of tamima. All of these are shirk.
Yeah, Sheikh, so let me just ask you a question in the middle. So if we see this sort of thing, obviously how we approach them and how we stop these things, what do we say to the owner of the garden or something?
You slip it in. First, you don't say it straight away,
Okay.
especially if you don't know the person. If you know the person, then you can be a bit, if you're close, well, then you can be a bit more blunt and quicker at it. If you don't know the person, then you have to develop a relationship kind of, and then slip it in. Otherwise, the person he'll just think, who are you?
Oh, yeah, that's
Who are you? For you to say. But at the very least, you must hate it in your heart. You must have hatred for it in the heart. And that's the weakest of Iman. Yeah, that's the weakest thing that you can do. If you have the ability, then speak against it. If you have the ability, then do something with your hands. But if you don't have either of those two, the highest is the hands. The lowest is in your heart. That's ad'aful Iman. So you must hate it. The last one, Hadi Ashar, see we're finishing before 9 o'clock. Hadi Ashar, ad-du'a ala man ta'allaq. That the Prophet ﷺ made dua against the one who wears and uses these things. By saying, may Allah not complete this, whatever you wanted from it. May Allah not fulfill what you intended by wearing or doing this thing. And this is dua from the Prophet ﷺ. But sometimes Allah will allow these things to occur. Because a person wants misguidance and chooses misguidance over guidance. So Allah will leave them to stray until their hearts are fully occupied by it. May Allah save us from that. And Allah knows best. We'll stop there. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina.